Good morning, this is the next day. We had a horrific storm last night. I believe our farm got struck by lightning. My router's out. It put my cooler out. Lost all my Freon. So my HVAC guy is currently working on that, and I wanted to show you some of our sweet corn damage. I have about 2 acres laid down. Terrible. Absolute disaster. This is just one little patch right here. So this was ready to pick, but we're going to start over here. This one stayed up. And I'll show you the other two over here. They're completely laid down as well. This is not good. It's going to be some very, very difficult picking. This probably only happens to me once or twice a decade. The winds were terrible. I'm surprised I didn't lose greenhouse plastic last night. That's how bad the winds were. We had debris all over our farm from trees. I was gone, but the lightning struck while I was gone during this big storm, and my wife said she saw the flash of light in our house. Whatever that means. But we're lucky there wasn't more things put out. Like, it didn't fry my computer or any of the electrical systems in my house, just my router. So I have no internet right now. Hopefully we get our compressor up and running, the condenser unit up and running here in the next hour, because my cooler was up to 45 degrees this morning. Yeah, this is not starting out good. Here's some more corn laid over. If you've ever picked corn that's laid over, you know how horrible this is. It seems like it's kind of isolated right here on this hillside and all the way over the hill. But this was all prime and ready to pick today and tomorrow. Both sides, all the way down the hill. Fortunately, we have these 36, 48 rows over here that's still standing, which is where we're going to get most of our corn today. But I know it's not going to be enough, so tomorrow we're going to have to come in here and pick some of this corn that's laid down. I can't let it all go to waste, so we're going to have to just go through here really slow and get it all picked as best we can. It is what it is. We've been pretty fortunate that the corn patch we're in now is not laid over. There's a few here and there, but for the most part, it's been really good picking. Got a lot smaller crew today. 4 pickers and a driver. I've been the 5th man in the corn patch for the last hour or so, but I have to go up and talk to my cooler guy to see if he's got it going. And I didn't have time to finish the trailer. I still got to load cantaloupe and some of the cooler veggies. Get the trailer on the road by about 9:20, and then I'll be back down to help them finish up sweet corn. A lot of big, beautiful bell peppers again. A little dirtier today because of all the mud and rain from last night. So after last night's big storms, it has really cooled things off. There's no humidity, well, very little humidity. A nice breeze, and it's only like 75 degrees right now. Absolutely perfect working conditions. Just a little bit muddy out. Looks like we're starting to get a pretty good load here. We have one more pass? Yeah. All right, we're gonna finish up this next pass and maybe even move on to these next 12 rows. Then we'll get her up in the barn and get her packed. Hopefully we get my cooler running by then, because it's getting warm in there. Just finished up sweet corn. Heading back up to the barn. Hopefully we got about 400 dozen. We'll probably need a similar amount tomorrow morning. Another day of zucchini and cucumbers, and they are loaded. We're actually going to skip row 3. We're starting to get piled up on them pretty good, so we're just going to keep these 2 rows going right here, closest to the wagon. Just about finished up for this morning with the guys. Just got to run these cucumbers up to the barn, put them through the washer, get them all stacked on a pallet and rolled into the cooler, and then it'll be lunchtime. We're getting all these dirty cucumbers washed currently. You see there's a lot of dirt on them. When they're that dirty, since we don't have a dunk tub to pre-wash them, we got to hand place them in there so they roll and get scrubbed clean. Packing up our Wick Market beans. We're trying to get each bag pretty close to $5 worth of beans. So we got $2.50 a pound in there. And we're trying to get right, there we go, $4.99. Then we're tying a little knot in them. Putting them back into the bean crate. And when we get to the Wick Market, we'll just take these all out and heap them up on the table. 1 bag for 1 coupon. Well, we're all finished up for picking today. This is what we ended up with on zucchini and cucumbers. And we only picked 2 rows of zucchini and 2 rows of cucumbers. We left a row out there of each because we're getting too many. So not a bad pick off of 2 rows. Watermelons are all washed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About 8 bins of watermelon. So lots of nice small watermelon for the Wick Market tomorrow. Man, I'll probably put at least 2 bins in there. And our beans for the Wick Market, all bagged up in the $5 bags, ready to go. Before I wrap up this video, I want to show you guys what was wrong with my compressor condensing unit for my cooler. This is the back side of my cooler, outside of it. It's taken a long time to bring it back down the temperature. It was almost 47, 48 degrees before we worked on it. So we want it down to about 35. So it's taken a long time to pull that all down because the produce is starting to warm up. Fortunately, there was a lot of cold produce in there, and that's why it stayed below 50 all night. I know it's going to be hard to hear because it's running, but there's a sensor that goes right there. You see that fresh solder mark right there on the coolant line? There's a sensor that goes there. It's a safety mechanism to shut it down if something happens. So when we got struck by lightning last night, I'm assuming that's what caused this. That sensor melted a hole through that line and all my Freon escaped instantly. And that's why it was not running. Obviously it has to have Freon. So it was just shutting itself down to protect itself. So we got it all charged back up with Freon, and he's had to order that new sensor, and we're gonna have nearly $2,000 in this repair. So definitely an expensive repair on that condensing unit, but it's something that had to be done. You know, if we don't have that, we don't have a way to cool our produce, and I probably had $10,000 worth of produce in there already before it went down, and we added another couple thousand today. We're gonna be adding a couple more $1,000 tomorrow. So probably gonna be between $15,000 and $20,000 in there before we start our farmers markets Saturday morning. So imperative to have a cooling unit up and running. Now you can see I have a little second one there, a little 3-ton unit. It's not running right now, but I probably should have had that operating as a backup cooler, because yeah, that's bad news if that thing goes down. And luckily I was able to get it fixed pretty quickly. Alrighty folks, this is where we're wrapping up this video. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I will see you all again real soon down on the farm.